Carl, beautiful plane again. We have Sikorsky here. Now, which kind of Sikorsky is this?
This is actually a Douglas DC-3 disguised as a Sikorsky S-43.
And what's the difference? He's disguising things now, folks.
He thinks I'm going to be serious about this. You got another thing coming.
Oh, no, here we go.
No way.
I'm going to get a great interview, folks.
No way.
What was this primarily used for during the war?
This was actually not used much during the war. It was a pre-war. It was designed in 1935. It was called the Baby Clipper. The S-43 was used to haul passengers prior to the war, and it was used in the military early during the war, primarily to haul troops. It would haul up to 24 people.
But it was never used for missions or anything else, maybe a scout plane or something?
No, it was probably too slow, and the PBY was much more popular as a reconnaissance aircraft.
First of all, what type of engines are you running here?
These are called DA-100s, and they supply about 10 horsepower each. So it's plenty of power. The wingspan is about 200 inches. It's about a 1/5 scale of the real thing, which was a fairly good-sized amphibian.
Pretty large plane.
Well, it isn't one that you hand launch real easily without bulking up.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't win this year, folks. Anyway, some of the features, I noticed they have extra strut supports in the back for the tail section.
Well, at that time, the designs were primarily to support things that they maybe didn't have the materials at the time to do.
To strengthen them, like aluminum or something.
During the war, they had enough internal structure to take the struts off, which were highly draggy. This plane was never designed for speed. It was primarily designed to get people from one island to the next.
And it probably flew fairly low as well. It wasn't really a high flyer then, really. Now, looking in the front here, Carl, if we can just step around for a sec. Now, I noticed you did a beautiful job on the landing gear here. Can you just explain that to us a little bit?
You want me to explain the mud?
Yeah, and the mud.
Or what?
And the mud on it from the landing on the grass.
Actually, I have a great friend named Bob Walker who is the founder of Robart, and he's a retired fellow now that needs a hobby like I do. So he builds landing gears, and he built this pretty close to scale landing gear.
So it's pretty custom to the. It's
a one-off, and it's been working just fine, except the plane does sink in the mud.
Yeah, a little bit.
As you can see.
Well, I guess this is quite heavy. Is this one of your heavier models right now?
Well, it's not the heaviest, but it's over 100 pounds.
Now, looking, obviously the design did change over the years. Looking where the wing is put here, this is probably why they had to add the struts in it from the side as well.
That's called a wing pylon.
Yeah.
And it was, again, to get the engines up high enough that they clear the waves.
Wow.
Otherwise, you have a real problem with a low-wing seaplane.
You did some nice detail on it. Obviously, I can see where you did all the screws all the way around, and that looks like you've used glue on it.
I did.
Still very scale, like you said. You're not concerned about scale that much, but look today, obviously you did a little bit more on this plane.
I did.
Now, what are some of the most difficult things that you had to do, Carl, to build it this year?
Actually, there were no really good plans available, and so what I had to do was I had an old plastic model kit, and I sawed it into 25, the fuselage half, into 25 sections, and put that on my scanner and blew it up to the size I needed, and that's where the cross sections, the formers for the fuselage came from.
Is she water worthy right now or not?
I think with a periscope, all the weight is really up in this section.
Yeah.
So it would have a tendency to tip one way or the other, and you'd be taking on water,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
it may not be a real pretty first flight.
Yeah,
but
you'd be sinking quite
yeah,
fast.
I would want to be a scuba
Would that be
pilot.
something you would consider trying one day, maybe?
Oh, sure, I'd love to.
Was it a little bit more difficult to find the center of gravity on this?
No, I have a hoist at home that will lift 400 or 500 pounds. And I lift I've determined the CG with my computer, and I'll lift it from that area because there are some aluminum pins that go through here. And if the plane tips forward,
Or tips back.
I put weight in the tail. If the plane tips backward, I put weight in the nose.
I noticed you got your guys inside here and everything. They look a little different than last time.
Well, they're different guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're using different
They had
guys.
different parents.
Yeah, they had different
In case
parents.
you-
One guy's a little lighter though.
Yeah,
What
well,
happened to him there?
um,
little face cream on in the morning?
actually, he's an albino.
Well, as usual, Carl. Thanks a lot. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back on RCTV.
Oh, I hope not.